and welcome to another Friday freebie feature on the whole bucket. I'm Cheryl, and today we are going to feature another place that you can get freebie digitals to try out to see if you like their quality, or to try out and see if you like creating paper products, or if you are just on a very limited budget and don't have a lot of supplies, freebies let you do your crafty thing. And at least get started on some stuff, right? Because crafting is just good for your brain, and these people who give us these free kinds of things to work with do it for a lot of reasons. They do it to advertise their product. They do it for showing off their quality. They do it for just what I said, people to get their feet wet and give it a try, see if you like it. And they do it because everybody should be crafting. And I have heard more than one company that provides freebies say, we just want you to be able to craft. Yes, it's an advertisement. Yes, it's for showing off our products, but it's also so you can do stuff. This is, I always say it, it's good for your brain. It's good for your heart. It's good for your spirit. Creating and crafting just shuts everything else off and allows you, it's sort of meditative, you know? So anyway, today we are doing a freebie from Vectoria Design. They are a pretty big digital supply company. The lady's name that I know of is named Tina. I don't know if she's the only designer, but I know that she is like the face of the company. I don't remember what country they're from, but they do beautiful work. It's all very rich, detailed, dimensional, lots of different styles, but all a little bit grungy. Maybe all is, I don't know, not all. I might be overstating, but okay, whatever. A lot of detail, a lot of dimension, a lot of cool stuff. So I already cut this page apart. This is a 3-page freebie, and you get their freebies by signing up for their newsletter. So they'll send you updates when they release new digitals or have big sales going on, and there's also freebies included, and this is one of them. So this is the 3-page one, or a 3-page one, and I have cut the ovals out of this one for the project I intend to do with you today. So I just wanted to show you what the page looked like while it was still together. Let me pull these off, and I'll just set them up there, and this can go away. And then there was another page that had all this stuff on it. So I did all the fussy cutting already. We've got some tickets. We've got some words. We've got some, microscopes, plant stuff and science stuff, and fancy pens. So this is like a botany study sort of pack. Gather, scientific, alternative. I don't know how that fits in, but whatever. Joyful, learn, always be a learner. Always learn, always grow. So I cut out all the fussy cut stuff. And the last page in this 3-page set is this one right here. So it's a full pattern page. Beautiful. And what we're going to do today is cut this up, and we're going to make ATCs out of it. And this, I just printed it on paper, so these are going to be pretty lightweight. But I'm okay with that. I don't mind that a bit. Let me pull out my guillotine chopper, and I'll show you what we're going to do. So the very first thing is I'm going to take off this edge. And then ATCs are 2.5 by 3.5, technically speaking. I mean, I don't think that everybody does them in the traditional sort of measurements, but traditionally speaking, trading cards are 2.5 by 3.5. So I'm going to do a strip of 2.5, another strip at 2.5, and I'm going to do a strip at 3.5 because you can do these horizontally or vertically. And then we'll have a little extra section right there. Let's keep that handy though, because we might want to use it for something. You never know. So I'm going to cut the bottom off of the 3.5-inch strip, and let's get some 2.5-inch bits. I don't know that this matters so much. It looks like this pattern goes almost any direction. So I think I may have overfussed a bit, and I don't know that you would need to do that. But just to make sure I have what I really want, this is what I went ahead and did. All right, same thing here. Now we're going to go 3.5 this way and get the vertical cards. And lastly, this one will give us 2 more vertical cards. We have some cards cut and we have some scraps left over, and actually I'm going to pull this over too. This is the one I cut the ovals out of. I'm just going to tear it in pieces. It's got some cool designs on it, and it's also printed on the back in a faded out pattern. So in case we want to use any of that stuff, there it is. The first thing I'm going to do, because I just like ATCs to have rounded corners, so I wonder if I can do all 4. Ooh, living on the edge. I'm going to try doing 4 at once. And I'm going to do it with the medium corner. Oh geez, no problem. No problem. Why did I think that would be such a big deal? Okay, there's the 4 verticals. Oops. And here is the 3 horizontal ones. Let's get that out of that glare spot. There we go. All right, there we go. I'm going to, let's do some edging in, I don't want to do vintage photo. I want to do ground espresso. So I have ground espresso here, and I'm not even going to bother getting a dauber or anything. I'm just going to take the little thing and go around these edges because I don't want to go in very far. I don't care where the line doesn't stay crisp, but for the most part, I want a nice crisp edging. And let's just do all of them. This is some exciting TV, isn't it? Just watching me edge corners and edges. Edges. You could use any color that you want to. I was considering using black, but I thought that would go harsh. I want this to look more vintagey than, you know, art. Harsh art. Wow, okay. I want it to look more vintagey. Also, I thought brown kind of went with this particular pattern better. but I didn't want to go vintage photo because I just don't want to use vintage photo all the time. So I went with a darker brown. And now I am mixing up the vertical and the horizontal cards, so it'll be interesting to see if I can even tell the difference when I go to look at them. I think that we might even build all 7 at once. I'm going to see once they're edged how many of them lay out and fit in the screen. And then we might just take all these fussy cut bits and ovals and see what we can come up with on all 7 cards all at once. Remember that if you are doing this, you can use these in any way you see fit. Add any kind of medium, paint, markers, crayons, pencil, anything you want, and any kind of materials for layering, like cheesecloth, colored cheesecloth, tea-dyed cheesecloth, like book page, like stickers, anything you want. So I don't know what we may or may not use, and I don't know how many we're going to do, but I am going to lay these out. And yeah, from what I can tell, these could really just go any direction. In fact, I think this is the way I cut them, and I think I'm not going to keep them this way because I think that one would look really good as a horizontal card, and I think this one would look really good as a vertical card. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do right there. Now, let's pull over the ovals. Are these too big? Kinda, but I might just put them off the side like this and then cut them or wrap them around so they're on both sides. I kind of like that one right there. So I'm going to leave that there for an idea. I like this one. Is there a place where it could go? Maybe like oh, okay, what about like that? Excuse Mr. Malik while he gets in the bed. Okay, there we go. And then I like this yellow flower quite a bit. Could we put this one down here? Let's not do all these though. Let's see, do we want this one somewhere? See, this one feels like it should be horizontal if I do that. Maybe I should decide which direction they go by what I put on. Because I like that like that. Maybe even scoot it over a little bit. Like that. Where was this one? Like that. Okay, let's set the other ovals aside and see what we have over here. So we have I kind of like that. We have this big fussy cut flower. Do we maybe like it like that? I don't know if I want to use the microscope at all, because it's just not going with the flow of what I'm doing here. And I don't think the mushroom does either. I think those might fit in a bigger sort of botany kind of thought process, but not really on these that much. The tickets are kind of standalone bits as well. And the pens are too big, and I'd hate to cut them because, gosh, they're pretty. So maybe you save those bits for whatever journal this would go in. But we do have this little flower right here. I don't know what we'll do with that. Okay, I'm just going to look for... Well, okay, let's give tickets a thought. Could we do a ticket? I could do the botanist right there. I could then cut off specimen number and use that little section right there as another piece. That would be kind of cool. Actually, all of these little specimen numbers would be cool. I think I'll do that. But let's decide which one. Do we want that one? We have some orange and yellow. We don't have a white though. Maybe we do this one. Yeah, actually I like that a lot. Okay. I think we'll do that. Now let's try some words. We have fantastic. I don't think I want to use the word plant. That just doesn't, it's just not very interesting. Learn, maybe, on the microscope, or microscope, on the magnifying glass one. Okay, let's try these words right here. How about joyful? I think this one's kind of joyful. Gather. I think this one kind of implies gather because it's got so many in there. Learn could go with botanist and specimen number, right? Fantastic. Red goes with red. There's also red in this one. I think I like it here better. Okay, that's what I'm thinking we're going to do. So, in order to get started with this, I am going to just do as they are one at a time. And we'll start right here in this corner, and I'm going to edge the oval. I know we're going to end up cutting part of it off, but I'm not entirely sure how much right now, so, you know. Let's just go ahead and edge all the bits, I guess. Then we'll do all the gluing, and then we'll do all the trimming. And then we'll see what else we need to add. Yeesh. Okay. So when you get a big freebie like this, it's just so cool because, I mean, it is all the things that freebies do. I mentioned already that they're, you know, all the things they are: advertising and sample and literally get your feet wet in the craft. And when you get 3 pages, it really gives you such an opportunity. I know that I am not being particularly creative with this one because ATCs are kind of a simple choice with this particular set, if you ask me. But it doesn't have to be something very difficult. You're now going to have a whole set of ATCs that could be used in one journal or one card or one whatever, or it could be used in 7 different ones. add them to any old journal or card or book or anything. Did I take that off screen? Do I just keep moving off? I keep trying to pull things close enough so that my eyes will focus, and my eyes never focus anyway, and then I realize that I've gotten almost to my nose and I still can't see. Okay. I sure like edging the ovals. Gosh, these are... I love how easy this is. And the ticket, and then we're ready to move on. There we go. All right, just a little edging on each one. Now, my question to myself right now is, do I go ahead and add some book page or some... I think this color goes with just about all of these. So, let's just... I'm going to slice off a bit of book page. And quickly edge that. And see if we like it. So if I put that there, do I put this under both maybe? And then put gather like that? Kind of what's the point, huh? I don't know. Other than just creating interest and such, I mean, it doesn't have to be for anything. I'm going to trim right there, straighten out that line, and then this one didn't have anything with it. So what if we just tuck this back here? Again, remember to do your edging. Okay, edging is not required. You don't remember to do your edging. You choose whether you want to do your edging or not. Me, I choose to do it, and then if I forget, I get all ruffled. So me, remember. What if we do that and add a circle? Do we want to add a circle so there's even more dimension? Another cat just jumped up on my desk. It's Suni. And the bed that Malik is laying in right now is usually her bed, and she's sitting over on the side to me right here. She seems a little distressed that her little brother has stolen her bed. Okay. let's see if we want to do any more book page. So trim that right there. Maybe just have a little bit sticking out right there. Kind of like that. I think that's the last bit of book page that I will do. And then I have an idea. I have an idea for some other layering. Well, for one thing, I said I was going to use these numbers, and I think I am going to, in fact, do that. So I'm going to trim there, and trim these little points off, although that might have been fun to keep. I'm not sure. But let's go ahead and edge that and figure out where specimen number 9 is going to be. Possibly right there. And then let's cut this one off. Nope, not going to keep the points. Thought it would be fun, and then I look at it and I just don't like it. I am going to edge here. This one possibly goes down here because right now this one has nothing. So we'll start with a little one that says specimen number 5. And then let's see if we can get some pieces of this cheesecloth involved. So I'll just chop off a chunk for us. And chop off the rolled up edge. I never really get them to lay down very nice, those rolled up edges. So we'll just chop off a chunk and see what we think. I'm just already thinking that maybe this is too fair of a color that it's not really going to show up on this paper, but we'll see. It doesn't matter completely if it's just a subtle bit. But yeah, that's actually a little too subtle. So let me pull out a different color. Since we're going for aged, maybe I can find the piece. Look at this big bag of stuff. Maybe I can find the piece that's a little more grungy. Oh, there's a grungy piece, all right. Let's try this one. I think this chunk will go too. It's a bit blue and a bit green. And it looks like it might be a little bit brown too. It's just pretty grayed out, but there's a lot of bluish greenish stuff in here. So let's try a chunk of this instead. Same card, same place. We're just going to try to put an element at the bottom here. And we're going to try to put this over that element. And then the specimen number will go a little off like that. That definitely shows up better. And it looks kind of cool and mossy and such. So I think we're going to go ahead and do that. I think we should add some of this stuff to this card right here. And I think only under the word fantastic. So I'm going to straighten this out a little bit. And chomp off a little rectangle if I can get, there we go. Okay, I kind of got it laying a little flattish, so I'm going to chop off right here. Cut. Whoops, and it still didn't cut all the way. There we go. All right, so I stretched it all out to make sure I'm getting what I need, but then I scrunch it back up a little bit. See, I like it kind of messy. But I'll put the flower down there, put the cheesecloth bit like that, and then fantastic on top of that. I think I like that one. Let's see, what else do we need? We need something else over here, but I'm not sure this color is gonna go. What if, can I layer cheesecloth? So can I put a piece of the peach over the dark? I'm gonna try that. I need the peach to show up better, but I don't want to totally harsh this card. So what if I do that? Does that show up better? Let's take a look. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. I'm going to do that for that one. This one needs a bit more. Not really quite sure what to do here, but let's just pull out this last little speck of the cheesecloth, the blue-green one. And I don't want to just do the same thing, so what if I create an edge over here? And then like that. Here, I know. What if I do a little bit of like, what if I did a little bit of a frame around joyful? So if I took a piece of this backing paper, right? And I cut just a little bigger than the word joyful. And I'll do some edging on that too. Then I could glue the word joyful to a little frame and have it just be a double thing right there. Let's take a look at that. I don't know. It's not thrilling, and this one looks like it needs a thing. This one is looking kind of boring to me. I know, let's take a look at this scratch bit. I think I see what I want to do. What if I cut the same sort of idea for the specimen part that I just did for joyful, a little frame piece, So what if I use this scrap to create a frame for the word specimen? So I'm going to trim it right there. I'm going to try to get this straight, but keep that scroll kind of bit right there. And I'll do the same thing here, just try to do the top of the scroll bit. And then edging again. Okay. Yep, I like that better. I like that better. That's going good. That's a good deal. I'm not sure how I feel about this thing at all. In fact, I'm pretty sure I don't like this one. So let's back off those two bits a second and see what else we have in the leftovers department. For instance, could we maybe, not exactly fussy cut, but could we sort of, I call it not so fussy cutting, because it's, I mean, it has a different name, right? Where you cut with a border around stuff, but I can never remember what that word is. All I remember is that it's like cutting, fussy cutting, it's just less fussy. So I just call it not so fussy cutting, because that's all I remember. Now look what I've done. Good grief, girl. What a mess. What a mess. Okay. Now, could we take this and use it to layer? Like, is that a thing that looks okay? I don't know if I like that either. You know what I think? I think I just don't like this flower. Maybe I'm going to try a different one. Hold on. Let's get the edging done on this little green and white piece, because it's kind of cool. We might want to use it. And let's get a different flower. Let's try one of these ones we didn't try to give a home to yet. Like maybe that one. And would this look cool with it? No. How about this one? And would this look cool with it? This one's not showing up that well. So let me do the edging. So we can see it better. I don't know what this does for the card. I don't think that does anything. I like this little cutout, so I'm going to keep that, but I don't know that I care for it in this context. All right, what if we take this ticket, the big ticket? I don't like that either. All right, well, we had this, a plant in a capsule. It doesn't really fit. What do we think of that one? Maybe with a specimen number on it. All right, let's try this. I'm going to quickly edge this. I recently saw Louisa Hansel do a video and she was like, so I skipped over this part because I think this took me 3 hours to decide how to lay this out. And this is why I don't just do crafting live and stuff. So that's not verbatim, but that was the gist of what she was getting at. And you're seeing the same thing in me, and I think the same thing is true for a lot of artists. You can sit and overthink this stuff till the cows come home, and in the end, it probably didn't need all of that overthinking. So this is kind of cool, the way it's turning out. And I did kind of go fast, but you can see that I'm like, oh, wrong shape, wrong size, wrong color, change it over here. It gets ridiculous. So if you are doing this and you find yourself overthinking and not making any decisions, I highly recommend that you do one piece at a time. So I'll show you what I mean by that in just a minute, but the gist is get something glued down. Right? Don't sit and think about it till the cows come home, because you'll just never end up with anything done. And in the end, you will end up with something lovely if you just make one decision at a time. So let me see, I'm going to cut out a little of this strip right here. In fact, it looks like I'm going to cut all the way down this strip right here. Because why not? I don't know what bit of it I'll use. But I'm going to put a strip of this right down here behind this thingy jobber. Like this. And like this. And then we're going to do a specimen number right there. So let me just chop this at an estimate. I'm going to cut this specimen number off, because this is the one we're going to be using. And let's just chop that right there and right there. Get this edged quick, and we're going to start gluing. And I will show you what I mean by make one decision at a time. It is definitely not what I did here, but you have seen me do it if you've seen my other videos. I try to practice what I preach. Even the stuff that doesn't come naturally to me, right? But I practice it, and I say it for a reason, because it's just good to push you past where you get stuck, if you're really stuck as an artist. Darcy recently did a video on Darcy's Misadventures with Mixed Media. She just recently did a video about what do you do if you're stuck, and she used prompts, which is another really good way to just get your brain unstuck. Force yourself to think about prompts and make decisions about that are based on prompts, and it will help your brain get in gear. So, okay, let's take this one right here, and I will show you what I mean by just decide one thing at a time. So let's say that I have this ATC card, and I don't know what I want to go on here, but I know that I want some of this stuff to go here. I don't really know what it's going to end up looking like, but I know what kind of feel I'm going for. So I'm just going to take a piece. We'll pretend that I didn't pre-plan this, even though we know I did. And I'm just going to take a first piece. I want some book page on there because I like some lettering on there. And this is kind of this is sort of a collage strip of book page stuff. So I'm going to use that. And then the reason I put that down first is because it feels like it's part of the background. Okay, so I have a background piece. Now, whenever you're collaging, and that's all this is, these are just small collages, right? Whenever you're collaging, start with the biggest piece first. So you have your background, whatever it is. This is my background. It's an ATC card with some words. This is the next biggest, the first biggest piece, the next biggest piece. So I'm going to put a little glue on this bit, and I'm going to figure out where to put it. Let's say I put it right here-ish. Now we can pretend that I didn't plan that. But for balance purposes, I kind of like where it is. It's not showing background here, which I didn't want. It's not lined up perfectly here. I don't like when things are perfectly lined up. It makes them end up looking goofy. This is not perfectly centered. The little knob on the top of the cloche is not perfectly centered with the stripe of the word bit. You don't want it perfectly centered. It just ends up looking goofy in the end when some things are cattywampus and some things are trying to be perfect. But if you don't get them perfect, everybody's going to notice. So put things off kilter on purpose and in a balanced sort of way. Visual balance is whatever you think it needs to be. So right now, this card is super heavy over here. I want things to start moving over to this side. So I'm going to go ahead and put this connected, but off to the side. Same thing with the specimen number bit. I want to continue putting some weight on visual weight. Again, I want to continue putting that on the other side of the card, but I want it somewhat attached. So I'm going to go ahead and put specimen number a little off kilter under plant. Now we have a plant specimen number 7. Beautiful little card. I'm going to set this aside to dry and move on to another one. Let's get this one done. So for this one, I want this cheesecloth to go across the bottom, create an anchor for the stuff that we're putting on here. So I will just go ahead and put a little smeared bit of glue like that. And because it's in the way back, this qualifies as more background, right? If you didn't want to further finish your background, you certainly don't have to. You don't have to add anything to the background because this paper is beautiful and it makes a background just fine. If you want to add more to the background like I am here, go ahead. It's just another choice. This piece right here, I want to hang off of the card. I'm probably going to trim it, although you don't have to. I could do it like this and have it going off the top side and bottom. I could have it like this and not trim it. I'm probably going to trim it because that's just the way I am. So I want it kind of right there. Once I figured out where I want it, I'm going to get the glue on. And get this in place. Okay, then we have this piece, and the only reason I'm going to do this piece first is so that I make sure I get it on the frame where I want it before I put the whole piece down. So I'm going to take specimen number and get it in this frame. And then we'll pick this up. And get it just like that. All right, let's let that one dry. What do we got next? I am not thrilled with this one. I hope I end up liking it. I'm not even sure that I'm happy with the book sheet on here, the book page. Let me try one thing before we glue. I'm just snipping a piece of that peach colored cheesecloth, and I'm gonna chop that little chunk off, but I'm gonna see if this would help what I'm thinking at all. If I put this under the word learn, do I like that? Nope. I still don't like it. I think I'm going to do it anyway because I'm kind of unhappy with this card, and sometimes, in fact, quite often, when I am unhappy with a thing, if I just go ahead and progress with it, I end up liking it after I've stepped away for a long time and I go back to it. It turns out that I like it better than I thought I did. So this time I know that this piece of book page is actually a continuation of the background, right? But because I want it specifically placed and I don't want it to end up being lopsided or wrong, I'm gluing it to the first big piece first. So let me get this ticket straight, and then I'm going to make sure the book page is straight. And I'm going to pull it out a little bit and get a little bit more book page going on. Like that. If I'm going to do it, I might as well do it. I think that's what we're going to do right there. Okay, now I'll get some glue on the whole thing and get this in place. Okay, now let's get this piece down, and I'm going to trim off a little bit of this triangle shapey. Not liking how much that sticks up, and I'll cut this string off right here. And then I'm just going to do across here for the base of it and not glue the top down at all because I want it a little floofy. Whatever part needs to be glued down will be glued down by the word learn. And then I want some movement in the rest. There we go. Like that. Now it's not completely rigid. All right, so let's set this one aside. And oh, wait a minute, I don't like that the bottoms are too lined up. Remember I said don't line things up, and then I lined things up. can't push it up, so I'll pull it down instead. There we go. All right, let's let that one dry. Next, this one's very dramatic, and there is no continuation of the background. There is just this oval going on and sticking off. If I should have used this one in a different direction. Okay, and I'm wondering if I should put specimen number up here. No, I'm just going to move this up instead. I'm going to move it way up instead and put this like this. Okay, so I changed a couple of things. I moved the oval way up. I flipped the cheesecloth over in that the wider end is now on the oval. I'm starting to get so gluey and inky. Good grief. It's my favorite way to be though, all full of glue and ink and paint. Okay, and now we'll glue down specimen number, and we'll let this one dry. Alright, we're going to have to hurry. I'm going to have to go faster. Let's put a quick glue down there. Whole oval is going. And then Joyful is going on in the frame. And the whole thing is going on. There. And set that one aside. 2 more to go, and then we will trim them and see what we ended up with. So this is a continuation of the background. So I'm going to go ahead and get this down. And I don't think that this one needs to be exact or anything. It's just sort of in this lower quadrant, lower left quadrant right here. And then the magnifying glass goes down. Yikes. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to put the word gather, and I'm going to move it to right there. There we go. Let's let that one sit, and we will quickly glue this one down. I think I want it right here. So I've moved it just a little off center to the left. Then I think Fantastic is going to go right here somewhere-ish. And I think I'm going to flip this so that the darker side is down. This blue is definitely darker than the green, so I like darker colors to be toward the bottom of things because I'm weird like that. Certainly not another thing that's not necessary, but it is just an insight into one way that I might make decisions, and maybe you want to do it too, or maybe you're like, no, that's dumb, I don't want to do that. Either way, it's good info if it helps you choose either way. All right, we'll let that sit aside. Now those three up there are freshly glued. I'll pull the ones that have had at least a minute to sit, and we'll trim these and start taking a look at what we're going to end up with. I don't have to completely trim the cheesecloth because I kind of like the threads dangling. But in this case, it's going to be a little difficult to not because I'm trimming papers too. And, okay, whatever. I don't know what I did with the ink pad. I think maybe there's a cat laying on it. Is she really laying on it? No, she's not. Okay. Okay. So, ink the parts that I cut. That's all I'm doing. Adding a little ink to where I chopped the ink off. And here quickly, I'm going to do just the oval side, and I'm going to leave most of this. Well, I'm going to leave it partly because it won't cut. But there we go. There's that one. Trimmed and edged. This one is just a quick top and bottom snip. And edge that bit. And edge that bit. And there's that one. This one is, again, just a quick across the bottom snip, and edging. I gotta move some of that cheesecloth out of the way. There we go. And then pull it back down. All right, those were still quite wet, and now I'm going to do the ones that are even more still quite wet. But, you know, it'll be fine. There's another one. Let's get that scrap out of the way. There we go. Let's see, are we trimming anything on this one? Maybe just a little tiny bit off the top of that flower. Boy, that one fits super nice. And the last one. I think I will trim a little of the extra cheesecloth, but not all of it. Get off. Okay, some quick edging. For continuity purposes, and there we go. There we go, a whole set of ATC cards, start to finish, except the fussy cutting, okay? Fussy cutting is a job in and of itself, but otherwise, start to finish, ATC cards, 7 of them in an hour. That's probably not great for some folks. That's great for me. That is fabulous for me. I made decisions and got some products made. Look at that. Now, the other side of these can stay undecorated. It can be backed with tea-dyed paper. If you, it's already printed, right? But you could put tea-dyed paper over this, or tear a piece so you have torn edges of tea-dyed paper, and then edge that too and glue it on to make this firmer if you wanted to. But this could be put on a page as a tuck spot or a pocket or anything. You don't have to use it as a card necessarily, but look at that, 7 decorated pieces, and they're just lovely. Even the ones I thought I wouldn't like are okay. I don't care for that one very much. And I think this one might be my favorite. But I actually really like the one I thought I didn't like. So, you know, you just never know. Just make decisions and glue stuff down. Just glue a thing down and then pick up another thing and glue it down somewhere. Try that. Vectoria Design, Freebie. Sign up for their newsletter. Find out what they're doing. Check out their links in the description box. And come back here again for another Friday Freebie feature where I will show you what you can get for free on the internet as far as paper crafting goes and what you can do with it. Thanks for coming. See you next time. Bye.